Hello, I'm Caroline, and I'm here from the streets, and we're here with Imani Wins. How are you guys doing?
Good, thanks. Great to be here.
And I've done a little research on your group, and you guys seem to do a little bit of everything. CDs, you work with youth, you work at colleges. I mean, there's a little that you guys really don't do. And you guys are here on campus. Tell us a little bit about why you're here at Dayton.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've been here for a residency program, and like you said, it has encompassed just a little bit of everything. And this is the kind of stuff that we love to do because we can kind of dive into the community where we come to and get our message out to as many students as possible. So we've been here for 3 days. This is our third and final day, and we were able to talk with a bunch of different students, music students, of course, mostly, but some engineering students, students from the international community, and it's culminating tonight with our concert, with our main recital. So it's great just to kind of be able to talk to a wide variety, because you never know what message might get across, what little point might get across to a certain demographic of student, and everyone loves music and can relate in some kind of way. So that's why we're here for this particular residency.
I know you mentioned the international. When I was researching, I found that your name comes from the Swahili word of faith. Mm-hmm. I was wondering, does faith play a role at all with what you guys do and your music? Maybe how so?
To be a classical full-time group, you have to have a lot of faith, but there are no religious undertones to what we do. Okay. But it's definitely faith that it takes to pursue a dream. So there is that aspect of it, and the name Imani Wins came to the founder, Valerie Coleman, before the people did. So just for her to have the faith to make cold calls to people that she didn't know, to start a music group and had no idea that it could become what it was 15 years later. It takes a lot of faith, but we come from different denominations, so not religious.
So it's more of a combination of a faith, not in the religious term, but more in the spiritual aspect. Almost.
And Imani just sounded good.
I agree with that for sure. It's like, ooh, I don't know what this group's about, but I want to check them out.
It's a cool name. Yeah.
Thank you.
So do you guys look at your heritage at all then? Does the Swahili, does that become part of it? I know you guys do some stuff with that. Maybe tell me a little about that.
Well, we are all African American and Latina musicians, so we were formed with that very idea in mind, that similar background and similar upbringings in mind. So that is purposeful for sure. And so certainly the word coming from having an African origin indeed relates to our own heritages as Americans, because that's of course what we are, Black and Latino Americans. So there is a relationship in that regard, but it kind of surpasses that now, and it really means so many more and other things. We just have a desire to bring a certain kind of way of playing and a certain kind of sound to the classical music world at large, and the fact that we are of similar heritages is almost a byproduct now. I mean, it certainly is a part of our origins. It's what keeps us here, frankly. But it's really about the craft and about our devotion and our commitment to excellence when it comes to the products, to the music itself.
Now, you mentioned a little bit just about how on stage, and if you guys watch you guys. Now, I haven't seen you in person, but I looked at some of your videos on your website, and it was definitely not what I was expecting. I was a little nervous because I was thinking, is this just going to be people sitting? I flash back to 8th grade band recitals, right. Terrifying. Yeah. But you guys seem to really feel the music. It's not the traditional, facial responses. Is that part of your? Is that natural? Is that just kind of you guys feeling the music, or is that more of the message you're trying to send?
I think it's a combination of all that. It definitely isn't a shtick. We'll say that it's not our little yada da da, ting. It's not that. It does come from a very organic, natural place, and we're just fortunate enough to find one another. And we all want to kind of have this whole body experience. And so everybody is there. There's not one person that isn't lacking in expression. So naturally, and it is really an amazing thing that the five of us came together and have this real, simpatico, just synergy. Yes, that's just right there. So when you do see us on stage or on video, it is a unusual sort of unique experience because it's not what you expected: bassoon or an oboe or a flute,
clarinet, French horn, these fairly unusual instruments, and like you said, it traces back to 8th grade band, and just that's all you could think about. But we do try to bring a fresh energy, virtuosity, dynamic playing, like you said, Miriam, and something that will look interesting and to watch for 2 hours. We make you sit there for an hour and 35, 45 minutes. We want you to enjoy the performance, but definitely we're feeling the music. We are absolutely feeling and want to represent the intention of the composer. And if that means a very powerful intention or a more, reflective, retrospective intention, you'd have to focus on that. And the outer persona reflects that.
How do you prepare yourself to go from one emotional piece of intensity to one of happiness? How do you make those transitions within yourself?
That's not just for us, we do it for the audience also. We talk before every single piece, and we prepare the audience for what they're about to hear. And often we switch it up. And so one member of Imani Winds will introduce a particular piece and it might change the next day. So every person, even as they introduce it, brings their own personal perspective to that particular piece. So it always allows us to kind of get into the mindset of what that particular person and how they introduced it. And, I never thought of that piece in that way. Or yes. And, the stories behind some of the pieces that we do are very uplifting, and some of them are epic tales of historical importance, and then some of them are just simple reflections on a pond.
A flower.
A flower. Yeah, Heather.
Which are needed once you've gone on an epic battle. You got to reflect sometimes on a flower.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, you need to tell us that sometimes, because we take the audience on epic journeys one after the other sometimes. But it's because we have so much we want to share. So it's an emotional thing, and again, you take a moment to prepare yourself, but that's also what rehearsals are for, and we do a lot of that. So we always try to capture and be the actors and the interpreters.
Great. And kind of, to sum it up, last question, you guys have 4 CDs, you've been Grammy nominated. What's next? What's in the future? Where's Imani's winds blowing to?
We're taking over the world. I'm not sure we told you that.
Right. Keep saying. Well,
I know. I'm glad I got this interview, so I can be like, I interviewed them.
Yeah, we took over the world. Well, just continuing our mission. We're going to be releasing another recording, hopefully at the end of the summer, that will just share the latest and the greatest of our internal in-house composers. Also, our chamber music festival. That's the latest thing that we're doing these days. This summer will be our 3rd annual festival. It is a high impact, high energy 10-day boot camp event in New York City at the Juilliard School and the Lincoln Center campus, and where we teach students the art of chamber music, and we talk about entrepreneurship, other business of music aspects, seminars, and then the actual coachings of groups that come or individuals that come that we put in groups. So that's our newest and biggest baby. Like I said, it's just in its 3rd year. So out of our 15-year history, it's very young, but and just continuing to spread the gospel of Imani Winds.
There you go. Well, we certainly thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule and to talk with us. It's been wonderful getting to know you.
Thank you.
And thank you for tuning in, and hopefully you'll catch us next with our next wonderful group. Thank you.